Welcome to Strange But True. Take a breath, slow down, and listen carefully. Some stories are documented, some are debated, some refuse to be explained. We tell you the stories. You decide what's true. Now, let's begin our journey. In the late 19th century, deep in the Ural Mountains of Russia, gold miners cut into a peat bog that had not been disturbed for thousands of years. The work was routine. Dig, drain, extract. What they uncovered was not metal. It was wood, darkened by time, waterlogged, preserved by cold, silence, and lack of air. At first, the fragments made little sense. Long wooden sections, carved surfaces, sharp edges where none should have survived. Wood does not usually endure. It rots, it collapses, it disappears. Yet these pieces remained. The fragments were removed carefully, then brought together for examination. When they were reassembled, a single form emerged. Tall, flat, deliberate. What stood before them was not a tool, not a container, not a structural beam. It was a figure. This object is now known as the Shigir Idol. For decades, its age was uncertain. Early estimates placed it within known prehistoric timelines, already ancient, but not extraordinary. Then modern radiocarbon dating was applied. The results forced a reconsideration. The Shigir Idol was created approximately 9 to 11,000 years ago. That places it far earlier than the pyramids of Egypt, earlier than Stonehenge, earlier than written language, earlier than agriculture in many regions of the world. When the idol was carved, ice sheets were still retreating from the northern hemisphere. Human societies lived by hunting, gathering, and seasonal movement. Permanent cities did not yet exist, and yet this object does. The idol was carved from a single large tree, a tree that had already lived for centuries before it was cut down. The choice of material matters. Large is dense, resinous, difficult to work. Selecting such a tree required intention. The original idol stood over 5 meters tall. It was not small. It was not portable. Even in its incomplete state, the remaining sections feel imposing. This was not an object meant to be hidden in the hand. It was meant to stand. The surface tells its own story. Tool marks indicate repeated, careful carving using stone implements. No metal blades, no sawing. Every line required time. Every cut required effort. This was not rushed work. The idol was shaped to stand upright, vertically oriented from base to top. It was meant to face outward. At the top, a stylized human face looks forward. Below it, additional faces appear, carved into the body itself. Each is distinct. Each is positioned deliberately. Between them, the surface is covered in geometric patterns, straight lines, zigzags, chevron forms. They repeat with consistency. They follow internal rules. This is not random decoration. The patterns imply structure, memory, possibly communication. Yet no known writing system existed at this time. There are no contemporary symbols to compare it to, no parallel objects of similar age and complexity. The Shigir Idol stands alone. Evidence suggests it was not simply broken by age. It appears to have been intentionally dismantled at some point in the distant past. Why that occurred is unknown. What preserved it was the bog itself. Peat environments are low in oxygen and rich in acids. They slow biological decay. They arrest time. Without these conditions, the idol would have vanished completely. No trace would remain. What makes that survival difficult to place in time is how little else remains from this period. Wooden objects rarely survive. Temporary structures leave no trace. Symbolic systems vanish when no one is left to remember them. What we see in the Shigir Idol may not represent the beginning of something. It may represent what remains after almost everything else is gone. Today, the Shigir Idol is housed in a regional museum under controlled conditions. It is rarely displayed in full. Its fragility limits exposure. Even now, it continues to change, drying slowly, aging despite preservation. Time has not stopped. What makes this object unsettling is not only its age, it is what that age implies. This was not a practical object. It did not provide food. It did not offer shelter. It did not function as a tool. It required resources, labor, and planning. It suggests a culture capable of abstract thought far earlier than expected. A culture willing to invest effort into meaning itself. And yet, nothing about that meaning is explained. The Shigir Idol does not tell us what it represents. It only tells us that representation mattered. When the Shigir Idol is viewed closely, its age is not the only thing that unsettles. It is the way it communicates, or appears to. The most immediate feature is the face at the top. It is not realistic, not detailed, not expressive in any familiar way. The eyes are carved as simple shapes. The mouth is reduced to a line. It does not smile. It does not warn. It watches. As the eye moves downward, more faces appear, not randomly. They are placed deliberately along the length of the body. Each face is distinct. Each occupies its own vertical space. They are stacked, one above another. This arrangement is not accidental. Vertical placement matters. It suggests hierarchy, sequence, possibly time. Below and between the faces, the surface is covered in carved patterns. Straight lines, zigzags, chevron shapes. They repeat with consistency. They intersect at controlled angles. They are not decorative filler. They follow rules. Researchers have noted that these symbols are not evenly distributed. Certain patterns appear near faces, others appear between them. Some repeat, others do not. This suggests intention, but there is no key. There's no reference system. No writing from this period exists to compare it to. The Shigir Idol predates all known written languages. Whatever these markings represent, they were never meant to be read in the way we read text. This raises a difficult question. If this is not writing, what is it? Some researchers have cautiously suggested the symbols may encode stories passed orally. Others believe they represent cosmological ideas, divisions of the world, or boundaries between realms. There are theories that the faces represent ancestors, or spirits, or stages of existence, but none of these interpretations can be confirmed. The symbols do not translate. They do not resolve. They remain fixed. One of the most striking aspects of the idol is restraint. There are no scenes, no animals, no landscapes, only faces, only patterns. Nothing explains itself. This suggests the meaning was already known to those who carved it. It did not need explanation. It was not created for outsiders. It was made for people who already understood. That understanding is now gone. No settlement clearly associated with the idol has been identified. No tools with matching symbols have been found nearby. No secondary objects repeat the same system. The Shigir Idol stands isolated, not just in time, but in meaning. It is possible that the symbols were never meant to last. They may have functioned only while memory was alive. Once that memory faded, the object became silent. Modern analysis has attempted to impose structure, measurements, pattern counts, comparisons to later symbolic systems. None have produced consensus. The markings resist categorization. They are too ordered to be random. too unfamiliar to be recognized, and so the idol remains undeciphered. What makes this absence of meaning unsettling is not that we cannot understand it, it is that someone once could. Someone stood before this object and did not see mystery. They saw knowledge. The Shigir Idol does not behave like art. It does not behave like decoration. It behaves like memory made solid, a record without language, a message without translation. It has survived longer than the culture that created it, longer than the stories it once carried, longer than the people who understood it. And now, it stands as a reminder of something difficult to accept. That meaning does not require permanence. That knowledge can exist without leaving a readable trace, and that entire systems of understanding can vanish without ever being recorded. The Shigir Idol does not ask to be decoded. It does not demand interpretation. It simply remains, watching, silent, waiting. History has a way of hiding the truth. Inside tales, inside myths, inside legends, inside things that feel just a little off. If this story held your attention, subscribe to Strange But True and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. Because sometimes what sounds unbelievable is exactly where the truth hides.